Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning into my channel again. Well, I don't know if you're like me, but in the bottom drawer of my plan chest I have a lot of unused washes. Sometimes they're very good, but they need a little extra something. So this is the time I turn to my sketchbook, my journal if you like. I keep a lot of little sketches of vignettes and figures that might be appropriate for this occasion. I want to put this sketch into that landscape. It looks like it might fit. So I study my sketch thoroughly, especially the shapes and the tones. In my mind's eye, I can already see it working. I'm just deciding on what scale, what size, what overall shape will fit this landscape. I'm starting with the head of the rider. That's the highest point of the whole group. Then I'm going to work down the body as systematically as I can, leaving spaces for highlights. I'm using shadows to help me, keeping my eye all the time on my initial sketch. Try to keep your marks connected so that one colour merges into another. This will give a looser look to the overall image and a more authentic sketching quality. And keep referring to that initial sketch. I like to get my dark values in whilst the washes are still wet. I also like to soften edges at this point to get some lost and found. Let's slow this down, have a look at the brush action. I'm pressing the brush in. This is a clean, damp brush so that the edge dissolves. Check the position of each salient point that you're putting in, and don't expect things to just fit all by themselves. So I'm slowing down. I'm going to try to fit this head of the camel in first before I move on. It's important to stand back every once in a while just to see the overall picture. And above all, stay calm, not hurried, don't rush. Just remember that the whole thing is going to look very different when it dries. I'm using the tip of the brush as well as the body of the brush when I do a pressure stroke. But it's time to put in another feature of the group. So starting with the head of the back camel, I'm laying this in with a mixture of burnt umber largely and a slight hint of cobalt blue. I'm now going to work on the legs. This will determine the height of the camel. Too short and it's going to be wrong, too long and that's also going to be wrong. So it's important to slow down and concentrate on the general overall height of the group. Once this is established, you can go back to the head, so the camel. Try to flesh this out a little bit more. Well, now I know the height of the camels, I can match these legs to fit the first one. Using single brush strokes wherever I can, so I don't overwork each mark too much. There is a third camel in the group, and it's hidden behind the first one. And overlapping things in a group is very useful for the general perspective, and also convincing the viewer that things are related. I'll try to get the full complement of legs in for both camels. Sometimes it looks as though they're sharing a leg or two. And now for the cast shadows. These are generally negative shapes, and as you can see, I'm putting them in between the legs, leaving some of the feet showing from the backwash. I'm now going to go back to the darker values in the group to get a more consistent value. I place a lot of importance on tonality and try to get as extreme lights and darks in my paintings as possible. And there are also areas now that need fixing. There's small details like the arm here and the back leg of this camel is missing, so let's put that in. Yes, and finer adjustments here and there to make the whole group look a little bit more believable. Now let's bring the foreground into play, and I'm going to work washes of burnt umber and raw sienna, largely to give this group a direction to move in. So here I'm following the line of traffic. Try and show slight indentations in the sand, and perhaps where other camels have been before, some footprints. This is a textural detail to bring the viewer's eye forward into the picture, a direction if you like. Some of my students say I have a problem with foregrounds, and I always think, what has my foreground got to do with the rest of the picture, and how can I connect the both of them? So I managed to do that here, I think, and a whole picture forms itself. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll tune in again. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.